Double kill. Enemy slain. Shut down. You are dominating enemy turret.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to walk you through a guide on how to play AP Misfortune. First off, I should clarify that AP Misfortune is an off-meta build. Please be aware that it might not be recommended depending on both your teams and the enemy team's compositions. Unlike a traditional auto-attack-based ADC, AP Misfortune is played like a mage, focusing on maximizing the poke potential of her third ability, Make It Rain. The core of this AP build is to constantly chip away at the enemy from a safe distance. It requires you to play like a backline mage. Since Misfortune is quite squishy, if you position yourself too far forward, you'll be focused down immediately. Always aim to spam your Make It Rain from a distance where the enemies can't reach you. In the landing phase, the basic strategy is to place your Make It Rain, E, right as the enemy goes for a last hit. The slow effect keeps them locked in place, ensuring your arcane Comet Keystone hits every time, allowing you to win trades efficiently. In teamfights, you don't need to dive in yourself. The golden rule is to spam your Make It Rain, E, from the backline, and then unleash your ultimate, Bullet Time, R, once your teammates initiate the fight to wipe out the enemy team. Alright, let's break down Misfortune's abilities. Her third ability, Make It Rain, E, is your primary source of damage. It hits 8 times over 2 seconds, features strong AP scaling, and applies a powerful slow up to 60%. Because of this slow, you can almost guarantee that your Arcane Comet rune will land every time. 3. Misfortune's third ability, Make It Rain, E, plays the most crucial role in this AP mage build. This ability deals damage 8 times in total over 2 seconds, with a tick every 0.25 seconds. Since its AP scaling increases with your level, you can shred through enemy HP in no time by layering the skill. The ability applies a powerful slow of up to 60%. This makes it incredibly difficult for enemies to escape the area, which ensures your Arcane Comet Keystone lands almost every time. This is the source of the oppressive harassment that will leave your lane opponents feeling hopeless. You can unleash a constant barrage of damage from a safe distance, completely out of the enemy's reach. By playing like a mage and maintaining your safety, you can keep constant pressure on the enemy, dominate the landing phase, and even disrupt their ability to farm minions.
Middle turret is under attack.
Skill 1. Double Up. Use this for early game harassment. By bouncing the bullet off a minion onto an enemy positioned behind it, you can deal significant damage. The first ability deals significantly higher damage to the target behind the initial hit. By aiming for a bounce off a minion against an enemy champion who thinks they're safe behind it, you can execute extremely powerful damage trades right from the early game. Since its cooldown is extremely short, you can actively cast it whenever you spot an opening to whittle down your opponent's lane sustain. In this AP build, Skill 1 doesn't scale as well for damage. However, it still packs a decent punch in the very early game, so you definitely want to use it to harass your lane opponent. Skill 2 is normally used to boost your attack speed and movement speed, but it provides significant benefits even in this AP build. Since the movement speed boost triggers when you aren't taking damage, it's vital for maintaining the safe zone that's crucial to this mage playstyle. It also helps you adjust your positioning to dodge incoming enemy attacks. Even with an AP build, the attack speed buff remains intact. You can utilize it to take down towers faster, or as a support tool in situations where basic attacks are absolutely necessary. Ultimate, Bullet Time. It deals 12 powerful hits over 3 seconds. It also has AP scaling, making it incredibly strong even in an AP build. With an overwhelming 12 hits over 3 seconds, all scaling with your magic damage. This ability is devastating. If you catch enemies out of position with the slow from your third ability, you can layer your ultimate on top to wipe out their entire team. Since you are self-immobilized while channeling your ultimate, you must strictly follow the golden rule. Always cast it from behind your teammates, or wait for an opening in the fight to ensure you aren't targeted by enemy assassins or tanky frontliners. Next, let's break down the best rune setup for this AP build. For the Keystone, feel free to choose whichever best fits your playstyle: Summonary, Arcane Comet, or First Strike. Following recent balance changes that nerfed many Keystones, the landscape for runes has shifted. While First Strike has been a go-to for gold acceleration, Summonary is currently proving to be the more reliable and versatile choice for this AP playstyle. While many players overlook utility runes, Botanist has become one of the most impactful choices for this AP Misfortune build. Because you are playing a mage-style lane, your ability to sustain and scale is paramount. With recent balance changes nerfing traditional damage-focused runes, the priority for this AP Misfortune build has shifted. Botanist has evolved from a niche utility pick into an essential, must-have rune for those looking to dominate the current environment. If you make good use of Botanist, it is possible to earn 500 gold in 10 minutes.
Attack the Rift Herald.
In the early game, 500 gold is almost half of a core component item. Securing this extra income often means you complete your first or second item a full minute or two before your lane opponent.
Not a problem.
To maximize your gold income via Botanist, you must incorporate specific map objectives into your routine. I prioritize destroying the following interactive plants to secure every possible advantage. Scryer's Blooms. Target both the one near the enemy's upper jungle and the one near your own raptors. Blast Cones. Control the one located beside your blue buff and the one in the enemy jungle. Honey Fruit. Periodically clear the fruits located in the upper and lower sections of the river. After the elemental rift changes the map, you can maximize efficiency while rotating by popping Scryer's Blooms near your base, hitting Blast Cones, and clearing honey fruits in the jungle. This helps minimize wasted time and keeps your gold income consistent. Moving on, let's talk about items.
Don't get cocky.
Since Misfortune's abilities, particularly Make It Rain, E, target a wide area, they easily trigger Liandry's Echo's bonus damage effect, enhancing her ability to clear minion waves. This allows her to quickly push the lane and move freely around the map to roam or contribute to objective plays. By adding Liandry Echo's additional damage to the harassment with E, the power to reduce the enemy's health will further increase. It's very effective, especially if your opponent is a soft champion. While the standard playstyle for AP Misfortune relies on Liandry's Torment for sustained damage, the burst damage provided by Liandry's Echo is a highly effective option when facing a team with many squishy enemies. Dealing continuous damage to an enemy with your E ability triggers the passive effect of Blackfire Torch, setting the enemy ablaze and dealing ongoing bonus damage. This allows you to steadily accumulate damage as long as the enemy remains within range. This item features a passive effect that boosts the user's ability power for a set duration whenever they set enemies, such as champions or large monsters, on fire with their skills. By igniting multiple members of the opposing team during a team fight, an AP Misfortune can further amplify her ability power, significantly increasing the potency of her skills. Pairing this with Liandry's Torment, a staple item for AP Misfortune, allows you to maximize the damage dealt to enemies. Since both items deal damage over time, your ability to whittle down enemy health through poking is dramatically enhanced. For AP Misfortune, APMF, Liandry's Torment is considered an almost essential core item. This is because it synergizes perfectly with the characteristics of her Make It Rain E ability. Make It Rain E is a skill that deals sustained damage over a wide area. Liandry's passive effect, which burns enemies hit by abilities and deals damage based on a percentage of their maximum health, is applied to all enemies within the area for an extended duration. This grants it exceptional poke capability effectively forcing enemies out of their formation. The APMF build specializes in chip damage rather than instantaneous burst. Since Liandry's deals damage based on the enemy's maximum health, simply placing your E allows you to stack up significant damage that cannot be ignored, even against tough tanks and fighters that are normally difficult to take down. By steadily chipping away at the enemy's HP during objective contests or landing phases, you can wear down the opposing team before a full-scale team fight even begins. This makes it difficult for them to manage their health and allows you to deny them the opportunity to initiate a fight on their own terms. While items like Liandry's Torment and Blackfire Torch, discussed previously, are designed to whittle down enemies over time, Rabadon's Death Cap is an essential item for dramatically boosting your finishing power. The greatest strength of this item lies in its passive effect, which significantly boosts ability power, AP. Since the damage output of an AP-focused Misfortune relies heavily on the AP ratios of her abilities, maximizing her ability power results in a noticeable surge in the damage dealt by each individual skill. Not only does the quality of the harassment from Make It Rain, E change, but the damage dealt by the ultimate ability Bullet Time, R, during team fights becomes devastating. From the mid-game onwards, if you cast R with sufficient ability power, AP build-up, you can instantly reduce squishy enemies to a near-death state or even secure a kill. While AP builds tend to see their damage output plateau as the game progresses, completing Rabadon's Death Cap allows you to maintain enough firepower to ensure enemy tanks and fighters cannot simply ignore you, even in the late game. For AP Misfortune, APMF, Void Staff is an essential item once the enemy team begins stacking magic resistance, MR, in the mid to late game. Here is an explanation of its benefits and importance. The greatest value of this item lies in its ability to ignore a percentage of the enemy's magic resistance. No matter how much AP you stack to boost your magic power, your damage will be significantly reduced if the enemy builds magic resistance items like Force of Nature or Spirit Visage. Void Staff negates this, allowing you to deal high-impact damage. AP Misfortune's damage output reaches its peak once you acquire Rabadon's Death Cap to boost ability power and Void Staff to ensure that damage cuts through enemy defenses. With these two items, you can deal threatening amounts of damage regardless of the builds your opponents are running. This is not an item to build in the early game. Ideally, you should incorporate it as your third or fourth item, either when you notice the enemy frontline, tanks or fighters, starting to stack magic defense, or during the late game when your damage output begins to plateau. If you're up against champions with high sustain, be sure to build Moral Anomicon. If you're facing enemies with heavy shields, pick up Oceanus Trident instead. If you find yourself struggling against champions with crazy healing or sustain, like Warwick Mundo or Soraka, you'll definitely want to prioritize Moral Anomicon. Its Grievous Wounds passive is the key. It shuts down their ability to stay in the fight by cutting their healing, forcing them to back off. On the other hand, if you're constantly running into shields, think of champions like Lux, Karma, or even Shun. Oceanus Trident is your best friend. Shields can often negate your entire burst, making them feel impossible to kill. The shield-piercing utility of the Trident is a game-changer, allowing you to cut through those layers of protection and actually impact their health bar before they can re-engage. I've spent a lot of time passionately breaking down AP Misfortune, but let's be real. She isn't the kind of champion who can 1v9 carry and completely take over a game on her own. In fact, she's much more effective as a bus rider, relying on your team to do the heavy lifting while you provide the support and disruption from the back line. While she might not be a solo carry who can dismantle the enemy team single-handedly, her ease of execution is a huge plus. You can be highly effective just by landing your third skill from a distance. Plus, the damage output is absolutely massive. There's something incredibly satisfying about poking down the enemy's health from afar, making it impossible for them to engage, and essentially forcing them to play on your terms. Thanks for sticking with me through this explanation of an off-meta build. See you in the next video.